Professor George Miley, Emeritus Professor of Astronomy at Leiden University, Mr. Barry Andrews, Member of the European Parliament, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to address you at this very important side event organized on the occasion of the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly. I wish Professor Miley we were meeting physically, but these crises that all our countries are confronted by have caused us to meet virtually in this way. I'd like, in the first instance, to congratulate the International Astronomical Union on this initiative of convening this special dialogue on the role of astronomy as a tool for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and for strengthening international solidarity. These are core themes of the policies and priorities of the South African government. I also value the opportunity to meet again with dear friends and partners of science and of South Africa, such as Professor Miley. I believe it's vitally important to thank the United Nations for allowing a side event of such caliber to take place during the General Assembly. I have always hoped to see much more global science dialogue in this forum, and I'm thrilled that colleagues have put together this gathering. I'd like to highlight 3 reasons why this dialogue is so important from a South African perspective. Firstly, we are convinced that science must feature on the United Nations General Assembly agenda. Secondly, astronomy and related sciences are a priority science mission for South Africa, a mission we have worked very hard to advance. And thirdly, we share the conviction of the organizers of this event that we should harness the immense potential of astronomy to achieve the vision of UNGA75, namely that of working for the future we want and the UN we need, and in this way reaffirming our collective commitment to multilateralism. During my tenure as South Africa's Minister of Science and Technology, I would often have the opportunity to emphasize that science knows no borders and should not be stopped by any border. Science not only needs international cooperation to prosper, but science also has the immense potential to unite our world. Advancing science diplomacy should thus be a key priority for UNGA75. The major societal challenges confronting our planet, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, addressing poverty and inequality, will all benefit from a global scientific response. Science can, therefore, not be absent from the UNGA75 discussions, and I believe that this side event will play a valuable role in enriching the debates and future work within the United Nations system. I'm also extremely delighted that astronomy is specifically put under the spotlight. As I said, it is a priority science mission for our country, South Africa. It was under the leadership of President Nelson Mandela during South Africa's first democratic administration that we took the strategic decision to prioritize investments in scientific disciplines in which South Africa and Africa enjoyed comparative geographic advantage. In this regard, astronomy was an obvious choice, given our ideal observing conditions, as well as access to the southern skies. Astronomy was also chosen for its unparalleled ability to inspire an interest in science, especially among young people. We also recognized the unrivaled potential of astronomy to develop generic mathematical, computational, and other technological skills which would be needed for the African knowledge economy. As a result of concerted effort and investment following these decisions, South Africa today is the proud host, with Australia and in partnership with 8 other African countries, of the Square Kilometre Array Global Radio Telescope. The SKA, as it's called, will be the world's largest radio telescope. The Meerkat telescope, a precursor to the Square Kilometre Array, entirely funded and designed by Africans, is already performing pioneering science. South Africa is also home to the Southern African Large Telescope, the single largest optical infrared telescope in the Southern Hemisphere. Africa has therefore become an integral and important partner for global astronomy. In 2024, South Africa will therefore proudly host the General Assembly of the International Astronomical Union. Our most important achievement, however, is that across Africa there is a significant and consistent increase in the number of African astronomers graduating from African universities. We actually have no hesitation in holding the view that Nobel Prize-winning science will be done with the Square Kilometre Array Telescope in Africa, that there will be discoveries to which our next generation of African scientists will make critical contributions. Of course, it would be amiss for me to not also acknowledge the important support we have received from the wider international community, including the International Astronomy Union and the European Parliament, as well as the African-European Radio Astronomy Platform represented in this meeting today. Indeed, the Square Kilometre Array and our astronomy experience has been a truly multilateral collaboration and global in science character. Let me conclude by saying, as we work towards the future we want and the United Nations we want, I would like to submit that astronomy can inspire and guide our efforts. Yes, Africa should invest in science responding to societal scourges, such as, for example, infectious diseases such as confront us today, such as hunger. And we are indeed making those investments and building excellent science in response to these. But Africa should also invest in astronomy, because an Africa engaged with cutting-edge frontier science, playing its part in expanding the frontiers of knowledge, not only fills our continent with pride, but also inspires optimism and hope, particularly among young scientists. These are precious commodities that I know all our nations want to nurture. The international astronomy community has a proud record of working together across borders sharing resources, experience and expertise, infrastructure and data. These are principles and modalities which are also crucial for the success of the work of the United Nations. As current chair of the African Union, South Africa's president, our president, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, is working tirelessly to reinforce multilateralism. President Ramaphosa is a great supporter of science and astronomy and the Square Kilometre Array Telescope project. I have no doubt that he will appreciate and support your efforts to highlight and to use astronomy as a tool to bring our world together at a time when there are many in the world who seek to divide us and to entrench divisions. President Nelson Mandela famously stated that there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. For the reasons I've stated, investment in astronomy is an important investment in and for our children. I know this from practical experience. Investment in and for the next generation is also at the heart of our effort to achieve Agenda 2030, ensuring no one is left behind. This is an effort in which astronomy can and must play an important part. I thus keenly look forward to the outcomes of this dialogue and to the recommendations that will emerge from it. I'm certain that although the focus is astronomy, an extremely important one, and one that I support, our conclusions that you will share will certainly address all of science. You can count on the support of South Africa in advancing the goals that will emerge from the side meeting. Thank you very much, and I wish you an excellent meeting.